Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is that time of the morning. Guys, look behind me. There's nobody behind me today. We don't have a cameraman here, Derek. We don't have lights everywhere. We don't have the videographer here. We don't have my microphone on. Let me just tell you all. Yesterday, okay? How many of you, I'm going right to the chats, Derek. I'm going right to the chats. I'm going right to the chats this morning. How many of you are going through a growing moment? Put an 8 in the chat if you are going through a growing moment. And I want you to put an 8 in the chat if you're growing and a little nervous and you're a little kind of like not too sure about it. Like, oh my goodness, like this is scary. I'm a little nervous about going through this process. Put an 8 in the chat if that is you today, because I'm going to open up with this. Kimberly was there. She was because her daughter's my neighbor. And I grew yesterday. I was a nervous wreck doing this videographer who stayed with me the entire time. He was with me from 5:15 in the morning until 7:45 last night. He scared Bryce. As Bryce came in the car yesterday from school. He went to the soccer game with me. He was with Brielle. I had to tell Brielle because Brielle was gonna get all nervous. Like, why is this cameraman here, Dad? What is he doing? I'm like, Brielle, I got somebody to take pictures of you. I want him to see you like playing soccer. Kimberly was there. And her daughter, her husband came out. We were playing basketball. The guys like taking shots of everything. We had their kids. Her grandbaby, Kimberly's grandbaby, was in the video. They were playing basketball. But guys, I grew. By the time it ended, I was like, that's not so bad. That wasn't too bad. I didn't even think the cameraman was with me by the time I kept going because I was in the moment. And so I say to you, whatever you're scared of, whatever fear you got, whatever you're not too sure about, okay? I'm coming to you today that I grew 1% from yesterday morning to today. And I was talking to somebody and I said, you know what, she goes to me, she goes, well, what made you change? Like, how did you do that? I said, I changed my perspective. See, I was all nervous, Derek, because it was all about Brock. Brock, why do you have a camera there? Why do you, like, who cares what time you wake up? Why is it was all about Brock. That's what my mindset was, because I'm an alcoholic. And when you're an alcoholic, it's all about you. It's all about you. My ego, everything's about me. And so I woke up all about me. I couldn't even sleep. I was all nervous, making sure it was all about Brock. And here was a moment that I want to share with you all. And I want to let Derek talk because this was weighing on me today. I was like, what am I going to open up with? And I told it to Justine this morning. I said, she goes, what was it? I said, the minute I said it wasn't all about Brock, it was about helping somebody else out because maybe they're struggling with their morning routine. Maybe they can't get up in the morning. Maybe they've been trying to work on their health and they don't know what to do and they see me going for a run. Maybe it's they see me with my kids. Maybe they see me cooking while working. Maybe they see me playing basketball. It's not about Brock. It's about helping out somebody else that might be going through something and I can help them. And the moment I changed it, I'm going to be point blank. I didn't give a shit about the camera. I didn't care anymore about the camera. I'm like, this is my life. This is what I'm doing. And if I can help somebody out throughout today, I'm going to be perfectly fine. And that changed my whole perspective. So whatever growth you're going through, just know that you're going to help somebody else out when you're going through it, because somebody's going to go through it at a certain point and you're going to write a story and you're going to share it with somebody. Just like Derek shares his story with us and what he did and his suicide and thoughts and his upbringing and his book and everything else, he is helping somebody. So if you take anything from today, my story, what I did, I want you to take a leap of faith, whatever your challenge is, and I want you to understand that you're going to help somebody. It might not be tomorrow, and it might be a month from now, but you will help somebody at some point in their life. So, Derek, I apologize, man, but it was weighing on my heart. It was weighing on me today because I was really nervous yesterday, 24 hours at this time. And today, at this very moment, I'm just like, you know what? I got to tell people about perspective and understand that they're going to help somebody else out. And when you change that, you become a freaking badass person because it's not about you, it's about somebody else. That's where I'm at, brother. So good morning to everybody. Derek, how you doing, man?
Good morning, brother. Thank you for kicking that off. I believe that people are going to believe that we collude in our messages, man. We keep doing things like this.
I'm like, they
That's
must talk beforehand.
Yeah, but that's actually a beautiful perspective that you put that keeping life in perspective, right? Um, Man, that's a good way to kick this thing off. I was reflecting this morning, Brock, trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about, and it's actually in alignment with what you're talking about. And I'm just telling you, man, my mind is blown of how many times we have these synchronicities between us. Like, beautiful. If you'll bear with me, I want to read something. This is the 11th verse of the Tao Te Ching. If none of you have read the Tao, it's actually spelled Tao. So the Tao is like written by a guy named Lao Tzu way back in the day. This is an ancient Asian or Chinese Bible, essentially. But here's one of the proverbs. It says, "Wait, before I read this, I'm just curious about something popped in my head. I'm going to say a word, and what I need from everybody who's capable of doing it is just to write what that word means to you in the chat. And I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to do that. The word is be. Cool beans. Here's the amazing thing. Look at all of the answers that people put in there. And look at you can tell the paradigm of the room. You can tell the vibratory rate of the people in this room. You guys are all talking about self. You're talking about being present. You're talking about being with yourself, your embodiment or awareness of the moment, being present in the moment, just being. How do you know I wasn't talking about a little bug that's flying through the air or the letter of the alphabet? Let me go up to this thing. It says from the this is the 11th chapter of the Tao Te Ching. It says 30 spokes share the wheel's hub. It is the center hole that makes it useful. Shape clay into a vessel. It is the space within that which makes it useful. Cut doors and windows for a room. It is the holes which make it useful. Therefore, benefit comes from what is there. Usefulness comes from what is not there. And there's a lot to unpack in that statement. So if you'll bear with me, let me go through it. First sentence, 30 spokes share the wheel's hub. I could just as easily say 25 spokes share the wheel's hub. There's 25 people in this room right now. Who's the hub that we've all wrapped around? This dude named Brock Zevan. This platform that he's created aligns with this second thing. It is the center hole that makes it useful. When you look at the word be and you look at the answers that people have given, Brock, what you've created is this environment where all of these spokes, all of these offshoots can benefit in their daily life from the perspectives that you and your guests are putting out there from the vibration. And if you need proof that, or social proof that what you're doing is working, just look in the chat. Look in the chat and see how aligned all of the answers are. That means that you've created something. You've created a space that's very useful for these people. Shape clay into a vessel. It is the space within that that makes it useful. Some of you that have been here for a while have heard me talk about this for a long time or many times. It is about the vessel. It is about the usefulness, the utility of said vessel. If you have a bowl, but that bowl is filled with milk and cereal, that bowl is no longer useful for spaghetti. You can't put spaghetti in there if it's filled with Cheerios. So it's actually the emptiness of the bowl that makes it useful. Because an empty bowl or an empty glass or an empty vase or an empty house or an empty car or an empty mind is fertile for whatever you want to plant in there, whatever you want to put in there, whatever you want to carry in the vessel. Cut doors and windows for a room. It is the holes which make it useful. This one, man, I'm listening to that or reading that and just sitting and I'm like, dude, without the hole itself, without the void, without the emptiness, the piece of glass would never fit in there, or the door frame would never fit in there. I had a repairman over here yesterday, a friend of mine, and they were working to install like 30 something doors in this hotel. And it's interesting listening to somebody who's a carpenter talk about something as simple as installing a door. Because you can have, if the door frame isn't cut out the right way, then whatever piece you're trying to plug in there, you have to shimmy that thing, or you have to brace it in different ways, or you may have to cut the hole in it and open it more. And I'll go into that some more after I finish the rest of this. We're going to go back into that, Brock. Okay. The last sentence says, therefore, benefit comes from what is there. Benefit comes from what is there. Usefulness comes from what is not there. So, with all of this, it is for me in this message, it's the things that are not there, the things that you can't see. It's the intangible, the invisible things that make your life useful, that make your life the greatest version of what it is. It's the silence, it's the emptiness, it's the void that allows you to connect with the deepest parts of yourself, right? Most of us, or many of us, or a lot of us, or some of us believe in a God, whichever version of that God that you are. Tell me the last time anyone saw him or her or it. Don't. It's the invisible that guides so many people in life. So, coming back to this thing, sorry, about this hub and the center hole being the thing that makes it so useful. Around every single one of you, you have people in your life. You've had people in your life since you were a little kid. And I know I was told many times as a kid, you're not the center of the universe. So stop thinking that you are. And maybe that's just the Leo in me. I'm gonna say Leo, Brock, because I'm not an alcoholic. You said alcoholic is self-centered, but it's the Leo in me that made me feel that I'm the center of the universe. And for a long time, I just accepted that. I'm not the center of the universe. But guess what? You actually are. Every single one of you is the center of your own universe. Every single one of you, without fail, is the center of your own universe. And who's going to take care of your universe if not you? Who's going to be there and execute at the levels that you will execute this life if not you? And what I've found, Brock, in alignment with what you're saying there, is that what Gandhi said many, many, many years ago, which is you find yourself when you lose yourself in service to others. So this brings us back to this center, because in order to lose yourself in service to others, you have to do what you did, which is to have that awakening moment. You have to have that shift in perspective. And in that moment, you actually find yourself when you let go and you start supporting other people, like you did for Driel. You actually realize that, oh man, like this thing isn't about me. Yes, I'm the center of this, but it isn't about me. I'm letting go. And I know that's a paradox, but that's the beauty of the Tao, and that's the beauty of many things that I'm inspired by in life are these paradoxes. I'm going to focus on myself and heal myself and become the greatest version of myself by letting go of myself and supporting others. This whole thing about the sauce of life and what you were saying earlier, me sharing my life's experiences, the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the ebbs, the flows, all these various things. All of that helps me become a better man, but it's done in service to others. What benefit do I get from it other than how I feel inside of helping others? Releasing all of these thoughts, all of these things, these experiences that I've been holding on to, these fillers that keep my brain running, the thoughts, like that hamster on the mouse reel, just going and going and going and going and going. It's not until I can get this stuff out and let it go, put it out there into the universe, and others can gain usefulness from it. So I'm not just rambling. I'm not just spouting off just unusable things. It's putting things out that people can actually gain use from or utility from. And that, in and of itself, it's almost like a type of suicide in a way, Brock. It's giving up the identity that was Derek so that others can benefit from it. It's that center, right? It's that center that sends the spokes out or that has the spokes poking from it that creates the value, just like you've done with this show, this platform, just like many of you do in your daily lives. Second, I'm sorry, going back down to the doors and the door frame thing and the windows, that hole that is there is like, what is a window, man? What is a window? What is a door? Right? For me, if you have a wall, like I have a wall to my right here, there's no hole cut in this thing. So I can't see on the other side of that wall. I can't see out there. I'm not unaware of what's out there. Because I've been out there, I understand what was out there yesterday. But if I want to verify what's out there today, I have to go through a door or a window. I have to go outside to look at this thing and change the perspective of where I am. So again, it's that hole that exists. It's that emptiness, that void that allows you to be able to shift that perspective, that allows certain things to be able to come in. And then where it talks about the vessel and the space, I want to again tell you guys, like one of the most powerful moments of my life. Call me a tree hugger all you want. I don't care. I'll go hug a tree. Was sitting. I was listening to the Tao, listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer's version of the Tao, and he was talking about the power of space, just like this. And in that power of space message, I'm sitting there, Brock, and I see this little tiny spider between my feet. And I'm looking at this spider and I'm going, man, to this spider, I'm a giant. I don't even know if this thing can see how big I actually am, if its eyes are capable of seeing how big I actually am. And this realization that I could just squish it, I could take his life like this. And then I looked around and I'm realizing I'm at the edge of a forest and I'm looking at the trees. And there's this realization that if there were no space, you wouldn't see the trees. If there were no space, I wouldn't have seen the mountains. It's the space of the sky and the space between the mountains that allows you to appreciate the magnitude of the mountains, right? When you go up in an airplane, it's the space between you and the earth that allows you to look down and see the tiny little ants moving on the road. And you understand just how insignificant you can feel or be at times. It's that space that allows. And many of you understand that sometimes in your most heated moments in life, it's the space between the moment and the action that you take in that moment that changes your life. It's that space. I was just talking with a mentor of mine, Ken Miller, who just released his book, Brock, and we were talking about the gap. We were talking about that space. We were talking about the 3 times that he's picked up a gun and went to kill somebody. He went to go end somebody's life, but there was a gap in there, just a moment to stop and think. It's like that moment when somebody pisses you off and you're about to explode, and then you're just like, man, but there's a good song on the radio. Like, I'm vibing right now. Let me chill out for a second. It's that space that can save your life and change your life. It's space that allows you to appreciate the magnitude of this life that you have. So, with this, one of the things that I wanted to take away from, or wanted to take away or give to you guys, is about this concept of space, what Brock is talking about. It requires space in order to shift perspective. It requires you to stop for a second and think about where you are, analyze where you are, understand if you're getting the results that you desire. And if you're in a place where you realize, like Brock did, like, man, all I'm doing is focusing on myself, and it's not about me. It's about these kids that I'm capturing their moments. That space allows you to shift perspective. And if you practice this moment of sitting in silence, this thing of just being, as I am right now. It's 4:38 in the morning. My entire house is asleep. So when I'm done with this, between this and my next meeting, I'm just gonna sit in silence, bro. Sit in silence, sit in this. And then after that meeting, the next meeting, I'm gonna go for a walk. Because Charles Weichler shot a video the other day of him on his peaceful walk in the North Carolina woods with the birds chirping and all that stuff. And it's like, man, that feels like a beautiful space, emptiness, to observe everything that actually is. It feels like a great space to be, to actually be. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I know I say this, and I know y'all may sound like, or it may sound like I'm just blowing smoke, but as Brock said, he grew yesterday. I grow every single day. I grow more and more appreciative of this life that I have and the abilities and opportunities that I've been presented with to come on and share parts of my life in hopes that I can find myself when I lose myself in service to you all. So that's what I got for today, Brock. Let's chat, bro.
I There's my main man Kevin over here. Here are my notes. Here are my notes on what you did, Derek. Yeah, a lot to unpack. It was funny. I used that word as well when I was like, damn, that's a lot right there. That is a lot that you just said. And the main one that I liked that I took away from was that window and door frame. And if you think about a door for real estate agents, I mean, what happens if the door doesn't shut correctly? What happens if there's a little gap where the air can go through, where you can see the light shining through because it's not shut perfectly? It comes up on the inspection. The door is not functioning properly. The door is not doing what it intended to do. If the window has thermal seals and it's cloudy, it says that it cannot, it's not functioning. It's not doing its purpose to look out the window. And it's these little flaws, these little challenges that take place with the door and the window and in everything else. But at the same token that you were saying the space that you have there, because you couldn't see on the other side, right? And what, but because why? You had an experience. You've been down that path that you know pretty well what's on the other side of it. And so I say this to you in a like, how many of you are scared to go on the other side of the door, or to go find the window, or to get through it, or find the door that fits perfectly to shut? How many of you are nervous to go around because you don't know what's on the other side? We have no problem going back to what we already know, but we're scared to go to the other side because we don't know. And if there's a flaw with our door, if there's a flaw with our window, we're more concerned about the problem, the issue, than actually understanding like what is the true meaning of that door. And like kind of like I was just thinking about that frame. Like it has to fit perfect. I mean, it has to be exactly cut perfectly to fit in the window. It has to be airtight. That's how perfectly it has to fit. And instead of looking at it from that perspective, like, damn, that's a pretty, I was just looking at my window now. I was like, wow, that is pretty. I mean, it's trimmed cut nicely. There's no wind, there's no leaks. I don't feel any air. I don't feel the heat coming through it. And I just like when I listen to that, I mean, I'm gonna ask you this, Derek. You know, as a human being, we tend to look at the problem more than the solution. We tend to look at the like that emptiness. We don't look at like, huh, I wonder why they made the window go right here. Like, why did they make it here? Why did they do like, why didn't they make one big window? Like, so let me ask you, how do you overcome, instead of looking at the problem, instead of looking at like what's wrong with the door or whatever else where it needs to be cut here, should we, like, how do you get past and just look at the opportunity, looking at that space as looking at something positive, not looking at the gap that's in the door or whatever else? Like, how do you get past that? Because I mean, the door is functioning probably 98%, the window's functioning what it needs to do, but yet we focus on the problem. How are you getting, or what do you do to help yourself look at the outside instead of the problem?
Great question, man. So, first is gratitude. I exist always in a position of gratitude. When you exist in a mindset, a vibrational state of gratitude, your perspective of everything changes. And for me, one of the foundational things that changes is I realize everything in life is happening for me, not to me. That happening for me and me being appreciative of what's happening for me, even if it's something that we would consider negative, I'm understanding why this thing is happening for me, or trying to understand why this thing is happening for me. But then just going back to that word that I said earlier, being. What is it? What is the truth of this thing, Rock? When we're talking about doors or windows or spaces, if we're talking about a physical property of something, or what you're calling a problem, if a man or money can fix it, it's not a real problem. If a man or money can fix it in your life, it's not a problem. It's an inconvenience, and you just need to call the right person to come in to fix it. So, because I exist in a vibrational state of gratitude, and I understand that everything happens for me, not to me, it allows me to go back to what Dr. Dan Sullivan talks about, which is who, not how. If it's a problem that money or man can fix, I need to find the right who to fix it, not worrying about how to fix it. The right who will come in and they're on it. And it doesn't matter what that man made problem is, bro. You can have literally, Brock, your car break down. You may not be a mechanic, but you can call one. Something happens in your house, you spring a leak, you don't know how to fix it, but you can call a plumber. Your I don't know, you break a leg or something like this, you can call a doctor. These are all man-made or man-addressed problems, bro. So I would recommend that to anybody. Existing gratitude first, which allows you to keep life in perspective. And in keeping life in perspective, you understand that things are happening for you, not to you. Everything in my life happened for me. It allowed me to be in a position to have the stories and experiences that I have today and the lessons learned from the life that I've lived to give back to you guys today for however long I'm existing on this planet in this reality. And in that, also keep in mind that there's a who for whatever the thing is you're trying to figure out, or the thing that you don't know how to do. There's a who for that.
I love it, man. Man, I just wrote down too. I'm going to look that up. What would you say? Tao by Lasso. I say
Yeah,
that right?
Tao Te Ching, but
I
it's
will.
spelled Tao. Tao. Tao Te Ching.
I'm gonna look that up. Derek, you can only imagine who's staring me down right now. She's sitting right there. She's about 5 foot tall, 5'1". I don't even know how much she weighs anymore, but she's growing like a weed, and she's giving me the stare down to go. So
All
I'll
right.
let you close this down, brother. We got a great guest for us on Figured Out Friday. Appreciate you, Derek, and thank you so much, brother, for sharing this morning. For everybody else, I will talk to you soon because I gotta go bring Brielle to school.
All right, brother. Drive safe. Everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in tomorrow for Figure It Out Friday. Brock mentioned that door frame, and I want to just end the day with this. You want to stand guard at the doorway of your mind. You want to be able to control what comes in and out of that thing. You have a beautiful space in here, and that beautiful space will allow anything that you desire in this world. But stand guard at the doorway of your mind. You're beautiful. I appreciate y'all. And y'all tune in tomorrow for Figure It Out Friday. Have a blessed day.